Welcome back to the Midnight Files. We like to think of our homes as fortresses. We lock the doors, we turn on the alarm, and we feel safe. But we often forget about the most vulnerable part of our walls: the glass. A window is a portal. During the day, it lets the light in, but at night, it becomes a mirror for you and a lens for whoever is standing in the dark. Tonight, we share 3 chilling stories from people who realized, a little too late, that they weren't as alone as they thought. If you have a story you'd like to share, send it to the email in the description. Now, dim the lights, check the locks, and whatever you do, stay away from the windows. The tap on the 2nd floor. I've lived in this suburban house for 3 years, and I've always felt safe. It's a quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where nothing ever happens. It was a Tuesday night, around 2 a.m. I was in the kitchen, finishing a freelance project on my laptop. The house was silent, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Then, I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from upstairs. At first, I thought it was just the house settling, maybe a branch hitting the siding. But the sound was too rhythmic, too deliberate. I headed upstairs, my heart starting to pound. The hallway felt longer than usual. I reached the guest bedroom, where the sound was loudest, and stood frozen in the doorway. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming directly from the window. I forced myself to move, each step feeling heavier than the last. Slowly, I pulled back the curtain, expecting to see a bird or maybe a loose shutter. Instead, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Fresh, muddy handprints smeared across the outside of the glass. Now, here's what you need to understand. There is no balcony outside that window, no ledge, nothing. It's a straight drop, 15 feet down to the concrete driveway below. My hands were trembling as I pressed closer to the glass and looked down into the yard. That's when I saw him. A man stood at the base of the house, one hand resting on a tall wooden ladder. He wasn't trying to hide. He wasn't running. He was just standing there, staring up at me. And then he smiled. Not a normal smile. It was wide, too wide, unnatural. He slowly raised his hand and waved. I stumbled backward, my chest tight. I ran for my phone and dialed 911, my fingers shaking so hard I almost dropped it. I told them someone was outside my house. Someone had been at my window. By the time the officers arrived, the man was gone. The ladder was gone. But the muddy footprints weren't. They led across the driveway, through the grass, and disappeared into the woods behind my house. The officer who took my report told me they'd increase patrols in the area. But he also said something I'll never forget. Ma'am, if he wanted to get in, he already would have. I haven't slept with my windows open since, and I never, ever sit with my back to a window at night. I suggest you don't either.
Story 2. The Reflected Guest. I was washing dishes late at night, probably around 1:30 a.m. I'd been putting it off all day, and I just wanted to get it done so I could go to bed. I was standing at the kitchen sink, looking out the window into the pitch-black backyard. When the lights are on inside and it's dark outside, the window becomes a perfect mirror. You can see everything behind you. I was scrubbing a plate when I saw it. A movement, just a flicker in the reflection. I froze. There was a man standing behind me, maybe 10 feet back near the hallway entrance. He was perfectly still, wearing a dark hoodie pulled low over his face. And he was just watching me. My heart stopped. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to turn around, but I didn't. I knew, somehow I just knew, that if I turned around, he would move. He would lunge. So I kept scrubbing, the same plate, over and over. My hands were shaking under the warm water, but I kept my eyes locked on his reflection in the glass. He didn't move. He just stood there, watching me work. Then, slowly, he reached into his pocket. I thought he was going to pull out a knife or a gun, but instead, he pulled out a phone. He raised it, aimed it at the back of my head. Click! He took a picture. I could see the flash reflect faintly in the window. My stomach turned. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't breathe. And then, as quietly as he had appeared, he backed away, step by step, into the darkness of the hallway, until he was gone. I stood there for what felt like forever, gripping the edge of the sink, my knuckles white. Then I counted to 10 in my head, turned off the water, and ran. I didn't even grab my keys. I sprinted out the front door in my socks, got in my car, and drove straight to the nearest gas station. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely dial 911. The police arrived about 20 minutes later. They searched the house top to bottom. The back door was unlocked. I know I had locked it before going to bed the night before, but there was no one inside. Then one of the officers called me back into the kitchen. On the counter, right next to the sink where I'd been standing, was a single Polaroid photo. It was the picture he'd taken. The back of my head, my hands in the soapy water. You could even see my reflection in the window, the look of fear frozen on my face. I turned it over. On the back, in neat handwriting, it said, "You missed a spot." I moved out 2 weeks later. I don't care if I lost my deposit. I will never stand in front of a window at night again.
Story 3. The Face in the Basement. My bedroom is in the basement. I know, not ideal, but rent was cheap and, honestly, I like the privacy. It's cozy down there, quiet. The only problem? The windows. They're at ground level, right next to the sidewalk. If someone's walking by outside, their feet are basically at eye level with my bed. I keep the blinds shut tight, always. One night, I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, when I heard a sound. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It sounded like a dog digging in the dirt right outside my window. I ignored it at first. Probably just a raccoon or a stray cat, I thought. But it didn't stop. Scratch, scratch, scratch. For over an hour, it just kept going. The same rhythm, the same spot. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Curiosity got the better of me. I leaned over the side of my bed and reached for the blinds. I told myself I'd just peek through the corner, just to see what it was, so I could go back to sleep. I peeled back the edge of the blind, just an inch. At first, all I saw was darkness. The glow from the streetlight a few houses down barely reached my window. But then I saw it. A face. A man was lying flat on his stomach in the grass, his face pressed against the glass, peering through the tiny gap at the bottom of the blinds. He wasn't looking around the room. He wasn't trying to see inside. He was looking directly at my bed. Our eyes met, and he didn't move. He didn't flinch. He didn't run. He just smiled. Then, in a low, muffled voice, barely audible through the glass, he whispered, "I thought you were asleep." I let go of the blind like it burned me. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. I grabbed my phone, and locked myself in the bathroom upstairs. I called the police, but by the time they got there, he was gone. They found disturbed dirt outside my window, handprints in the soil, and a small pile of cigarette butts, like he'd been lying there for hours. I moved my bed to the other side of the room after that. I nailed the blinds shut. I even put blackout curtains over them. But every time I hear the wind blow leaves against that window, every time I hear a branch scratch the glass, I wonder if he's back, lying in the dirt, watching, waiting for me to peek again.